The Steam Controller 2 is finally here, so let's review it. Starting off with the positives, its ergonomics are honestly perfect. You can easily reach every button despite its larger size. I also like how Valve changed how tactile some of these buttons feel, like the D-pad for instance. On the original Steam Deck it felt a bit rigid and stiff to me, but here it's much more softer and pivots better. Its triggers and face buttons are much more premium and aren't too click-head, they feel closest to the DualSense in terms of comfort. The analog sticks don't snag and the entire unit just feels premium, nothing creaks and it's clearly built to last. Of course, its extra bells and whistles are also worth commenting on. I'll always love having 4 back buttons to map inputs to. It's a hard thing to communicate, but not having to move your thumbs off the analogs and always having your fingers on every input makes reaction heavy games feel much more engaging, and there's no risk of hitting the wrong buttons because of this. It's a quality of life feature you'll definitely come to appreciate more in 3D games. For the PC player only wanting to play their Steam library, this controller is well worth it. But I will admit, there is a few choices Valve made with the Steam Controller 2 that I'm not really a big fan of. Like with its puck, it's alright if you intend to use it in a static setup, but for the Steam Deck in particular, it's a bit cumbersome to have a big wire sticking out of it, especially if you're like me and enjoy playing mostly in tabletop mode. Thankfully, you can just set it to Bluetooth mode. However, the biggest issue surrounding this controller is how you can't really use it without having Steam open. Trying to map it to other emulators is extremely tedious, and in some cases it's not even being detected. The way to get around this issue is to run emulators through Steam and map the controller to the first port. But I much prefer playing emulated games in desktop mode, especially if you're wanting to capture footage for OBS or stream to Twitch or just having another window open. Sadly, this controller doesn't really let you do that. Other controllers out there like the DualSense lets you do this, which makes it much better for emulation and desktop play, and I honestly can't recommend it for people wanting to use it for emulation, at least until it gets a few quality of life updates to make the setup less of a hassle. Hopefully in due time, emulators like Dolphin or PCXS2 will just natively support the Steam controller through Bluetooth. Overall, this is an incredible controller that's unfortunately being held back despite being designed to fit the PC ecosystem, a platform that's sold on how players can play their own way. Valve has made some confusing decisions that gets in the way of that, which can be fixed but at the moment holds it back from being absolutely perfect.